This is my first YouTube video, pretty experimental. I don't know if this is going to be put up, but this is a story time about when I snuck out to a drug dealer party at 16. So the story begins with my old bestie. This is 2018, Cartdemic, Zandemic era. If you were there, then you know. Anyway, so we were pretty much up to no good all the time. You know, like the classic bad teenager stuff. Stealing, drinking, smoking, doing random drugs. So we're having a sleepover in my old bedroom, taking bong rips out through my window, not wanting to get caught. And she mentions that there's a party happening that we saw pop up on Snapchat. The people running it are pretty much the town's dealers and plugs, and she really wanted to be close to these people at that time. So she was like, come on, like, let's go, like, let's bring them alcohol, like, I'll Uber us, you know, let's just sneak out. You know, at that time, I was like, you know what, that is a great idea. That is a great idea. You know what, let's sneak out at 2 a.m. We're gonna bring them alcohol, and then we're gonna come back at a good time. And so I was like, yeah, okay, great. 2 a.m. rolls around quickly. We are all done up. We're all dolled up, all ready to go to this random sausage fest party. And you know what? I don't even think it was a party. I think it was just like a kickback, or I don't know. It was hella late. We're out on the street in the middle of the night, just around the corner from my house. She calls an Uber, and no Ubers are coming up. Like, I live in a farm town, and late at night, back then, you didn't really just see that many Ubers around, but we're trying to get an Uber. An Uber comes eventually after almost a full hour. And you know what? I'm not even tripping. And I look over at Annie, and I'm like, hey, so where is this party? And she says, oh, it's at this town, which is 40 minutes away, which is literally 40 minutes away. And so I'm like, oh, haha, like, okay. And it's in the mountains. I forgot to mention, it's like in the middle of like nowhere, in the middle of the trees, in the middle of... Okay, so the Uber is like taking us really far, like going through like cornfields, like, you know, like just we're on this 40-minute drive, and we're eventually hitting the mountains. It's pitch black, going up twisty mountains to this random house, and I'm almost an hour away from my house. I literally forgot to mention, this is the worst part, is that I left the back door cracked so that we could get back in. Like I didn't expect to be out that long. We finally pull up to this house, and it is a beautiful, like, A-frame, those triangle houses, like on like stilts. And I'm not quite sure if this is true, but there was this rumor. At the time, we accepted it as fact that they were all able to pay for all of their stuff, like just from plugging. So these people they all went to my high school. I think they were all a year or two older, and they pretty much ran all of the business in that town. If there were people who were selling for better prices than them, they would just rob them. Like, I don't even know how to, like, they would try to take out all of their competition, and I don't know, they were just pretty bad dudes, but like, they were efficient enough that like everybody bought off of them. They had so much product, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to buy their nice cars, their nice clothes, and a house like this, but it could have belonged to a family member. But we would just saying for the story that this was their house. So yeah, the house is like pretty empty. Like, it has furniture, but it's like there's like not a woman's touch in that house. Let me just say that. We're having a great time, like, we're smoking on the balcony. I really don't even know what we would be relating on. The kitchen, the counter, full of empty alcohol bottles, weed, and guns. I don't know if this is normal, but it wasn't really that hard to get guns, like, as an underage person in my town. Very often, people would post gun menus on their Snapchat stories the same way that plugs would post their product. And it would be some pretty heavy guns that were fully ready, unregistered, but I wasn't a snitch. I would just scroll past. So eventually, things are kind of slowing down. Annie, my friend, is like, I'm gonna go in the back room with E, the main plug. And I was just like, girl, okay, do what you want, but like, please hurry. Like, I want to get home soon. So eventually, things are kind of slowing down. Annie, my friend, is like, I'm gonna go in the back room with E. We just call him E, the main plug. And I was just like, girl, okay, do what you want, but like, please hurry. Like, I want to get home soon. She goes off into the bedroom and she's in there for an hour. And I'm like, okay. I text her, I'm calling her, no response. The plugs are falling asleep on the couch next to me. Like it's dead. It's dead. The TV's on, everyone's quiet. I'm literally just like tucked in a little corner, like miserable. I didn't want to be there. These are just dudes from school that I know. Like, I'm banging on the door. Annie, please, like, I want to go home, whatever. No response from her. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give her another 20 minutes. I come back. There's a lot of sound coming from back there. They would even stop. They ignored me, basically, like, when I was like knocking on the door. Anyway, so I give them a little bit of extra time. I come back, knocking on the door. Hey, Annie, I need to leave. I need to go home. Like, this is like too late. It's like 5 a.m. Like, I gotta get home. And she says, oh, like, just give me a little bit more time. And then it stretches longer and longer and longer to where she's eventually in there for literally hours. Like, I'm falling asleep on the couch. The sun is coming up. I'm freaking out because I left the back door open. And I live with my grandparents, and honestly, I don't even know what they would have done, like, if they found out that I did that. I go back to the door. I'm like, Annie, you need to get out right now. Like, I need to go. Like, this is bad. She opens the door. She finally opens the door. The room is completely destroyed. Like, the whole bed is, like, on the floor, pretty much. Like, not the mattress, but, like, everything on the mattress. She's telling me, like, okay, like, let me get my things. Like, let me get ready. She gets her shit together. We try to get an Uber, like, at, like, the earliest time in the morning. No Ubers, literally. And no Ubers were coming the whole night. I was trying to get an Uber just for myself. But it was literally, we were up in the mountains, in the middle of nowhere. I barely had service. There was nobody. So eventually, I see E, the main plug, and I'm like, yo, like, you need to take me home. Like, I don't want to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. Like, you need to take me home. You were fucking my friend all night, and you guys just fucking stranded me. So, he's so fucking annoyed. He's so annoyed. Like, ugh, like, fine. And I'm just, like, ripping into this guy. Eventually, grounds his car up, packs it with me and his homies, takes me back home. I get home to the door I left open, and it's locked. It's literally closed and locked. I have no key. So I just start knocking on the door. My grandpa opens it, and he's like, where have you been? I tell him Annie needed to get picked up early for work, so I waited for the Uber outside with her early in the morning. And I got off scot-free. And all of our shit was stolen.